Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying their time so far. So good to see. I've popped in a couple of sessions and I see that it's really been going well. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I also just want to recommend after this, if you just want to quickly check out Abigail Martin's expo really quickly. She's on right now. You can actually speak to her, really learn what it's like to run for office as a social worker. So I do recommend that. And I just want to introduce Stacey Baxter, who's going to be leading us on our social media raid. She's an MSW student at Catholic University of America, and take it away.
Thank you, Notion. Thank you for everything you've done today. It's been great so far. I know it's been challenging with virtual, but hey, everyone. Happy Social Work Month. Thank you all for joining us today and coming to the social media raid. I appreciate it. And I know that we have a range of social workers and social work students with us today, and we all may be working in different realms of our field, but we do have one thing in common, and that's that we are advocates, and it is outlined in our NASW Code of Ethics as social workers that we work as advocates in the field of social justice. And it really sets us apart, I think, from other professions. And it's what allows us to make large scale changes aimed at benefiting all people, especially those who are most vulnerable or the most marginalized in our society. I think it's a testament, to all the social workers and social work students and future social workers here today that we will continue this fight to be advocates, especially in the realms of social justice. And I think it's important for us to continue that work. So in this breakout room session today, we're going to focus on the opportunity that social media platforms present, and that allows us to spread information and messages across the nation and really across the world that are important to the work that we do as social workers. So I'm going to start by talking a little bit about, social media and the opportunities it presents to us, and then at the end, I'm hoping that we can all participate in a little brainstorming, kind of like polling activities so that we can decide which hashtag we want to use in our social media raid to spread the word about these 3 pieces of legislation today. So first, and I am sure we are all familiar with social media in this world of 2021, but I wanted to acknowledge really just the enormous reach that social media gives us. As currently as of January 2021, there are over 3.6 billion people using social media worldwide. And I'm sure it comes to no shock to all of you that the 3 biggest players in the social media field is Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And I think, we can all tell that TikTok is kind of bringing us in different realms too, that are not just dance videos, but also spreading information. So I think as we kind of go forward, we're seeing that more social media outlets are going to keep coming up that allow us to connect with people from all over the world. But today I'm just going to focus essentially on Twitter and Instagram a little bit for 2 main reasons. The first one is just the enormous reach that both of those platforms have to all people in all walks of life across the world. So really on Twitter, when I looked at the most liked tweet of all time, it had 6.2 million likes on it. And then we go over to Instagram and see the most liked post that they had over 54 million likes. So you really can see that these huge numbers of people highlight the amount of opportunities that we have to reach people with messages that are important to social work and to the clients that we work with. And I think the other important reason is because Twitter and Instagram allow us to participate in what is called hashtag activism. And that's actually a real term that was defined. It's defined as an act of building support through social media. And I think as advocates, it gives us a great opportunity to use that platform to our whole profession's advantage and not just, maybe with our communities that we work in. So I think, when we look at social media and the interplay already between social work and social media, I think we can see how viral tweets, photos, and videos, they do lead to opportunities for macro legislative change. And I think for me, one of the first examples that came to mind was, the murder of George Floyd. And the video of that horrible incident that was shared millions of times, not just in America, but all over the world across all social media outlets. It led to thousands of protests all over the world, all over this country, conversations. And, when we tie in some of our social work policy knowledge, and shout out to some of my policy teachers at Catholic, we talk about, we know from Kingdon and his 3 streams that it takes an activating event such as these to really allow us to see that there's a window of opportunity, that maybe social media can help us break through that wall and lead to getting these types of issues on the agenda setting process. So when we talk about, George Floyd, that social media and the fact that it went viral and it was talked about for so long, it led to, legislation such as HR 7120, George Floyd Justice and Policing Act of 2020. So we can see just how, obviously a horrible incident led to a lot of people talking about these injustices, which eventually led to an opening door in the policy realm, which allowed a legislative bill to come to the front. I think another example of this is the social media's impact on legislation would be the premise of the viral housing conditions for immigrant children that really just were all over social media. I think the collective masses of people talking about these issues, talking about the injustices of immigrant children and just the process of immigration into the United States, it led to conversations, even more conversations that have already been happening in policy realms. And that window of opportunity for the creation of the Senate Bill 5055, Fairness for Immigrant Families Act, and just other legislation that's aimed at addressing these injustices. So I think we can see in other examples as well, and I'm happy to, if people want to put some in the chat of examples that they've seen where, social media has really helped to elevate the conversation, to allow social justice, legislative bills to reach that forefront of the agenda setting process. So I think today we really just have an important, a unique and important opportunity to make a social media impact, seeing that we have people from all over the country on one, hop in, talking about these issues, talking about social work, talking about the connection between policy and social work. And I think we have an opportunity to shine light on these 3 pieces of legislation and attempt to build support around them, or at least conversations, or at least to kind of, it would be my goal if we could put it on a trending for Twitter, right? And I think that with all the opportunities that we individually have, we can kind of come together to create a force on social media. And I know that obviously we know that something catchy is going to have a better chance at going viral. And so when I think about, hashtag activism and kind of how we can pull focus and how we can get, our points across to different types of people all across the nation, I wanted to try to do some brainstorming and some quick polling for some hashtags around the 3 pieces of legislation that we're going to be talking about mostly today. And then we want to use for a social media raid. So I'm not actually able to share my screen with you guys, but what I can do is I've written down a couple of hashtags that I think might be helpful to start with. And I think I wanted to get people's opinions on it a little bit, and just to see how we think this might work in the realm of social media. And so I've written them down, and we're going old school with, piece of paper and stuff because I can't share my screen. But I think, if you could put in the chat some ideas that you have, but, I think keeping it simple is really important. There are times we just want to tweet out something about a bill and we want to hashtag something maybe like just HR1, right? And it might be backwards on your screen. I hope it's not. And when we are talking about HR1 and what it means, and it's For the People Act, I started thinking, how can we make this catchy? How can we make something like a word play, right? And so one of the things I thought of is hashtag HR1 For the People, For the Vote. So that can be another opportunity for us to kind of get in on, a word play or a catchy phrase that people are going to want to click on and see what people are talking about on Twitter and Instagram with this legislation. Another one that I had thought of is HR1, hashtag HR1, voting rights for everyone. A little bit of rhyming there. And I think when we talk about, what is catchy on social media and what's going to draw attention, it's important for us to find ways to interplay those 2 things. And so I'm not able to kind of see the chat as much as I'd like. I'm going to see if I can figure that out. But I'm hoping that people are, there's Notion in here.
Yeah, I just wanted to come in to help you. I think on your right side, you should see like a chat option, and then under stage, you'll see everyone. who's commenting. Technical difficulties, the
Yeah,
reality of a
sorry
virtual
guys.
event. No need to apologize. This is just the reality.
Okay, now I see some comments. Okay, great.
Awesome. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so thank you, Notion, by the way. So hashtag voting rights are human rights. I love that. Hashtag voting for all, hashtag HR1 FTP. And so I kind of wanted to see, like, out of the HR1 bill, if there are a couple of people that wanted to just say, out of the ones that are on there, out of the ones that I mentioned, what are something that, if we could pick one or two to everyone kind of tweet out something at the end of this session, if you could put in the chat, if you like HR1 for the people for the vote, if you like HR1 voting rights for everyone, or if you just like, if you want to put something else. I just saw hashtag we are the people vote. And I think it's also important to try and tie in some of this legislation. And maybe that's in our tweet. And then our hashtag is something simple. Hashtag we the people vote. Hashtag can I vote. And so I really like and I appreciate all the input people are giving in the chat. So we'll kind of be thinking about that, and we can kind of do a little poll at the end. And hopefully my goal is at the end of the session to kind of all bring out our phones and get on our Twitter, get on our Instagram, and just try to put the word out there a little bit and see if we can get on some trending on social media. That would be great. HR1 vote, I like that a lot. And that was from Rachel. So I really like that one as well. Hashtag we the people vote HR1. So I'm seeing a lot of input there, and I think that's great. I think that we're a good guinea pig group to see what sounds good to us, what draws attention to us that might draw attention to other people. And so I'm gonna kind of move on from HR1 because I want to also talk about HR40. And I think like for that, there were a couple of things that came to mind, keeping it simple, hashtag HR40. And then I also thought of HR40 reparations now, right? And so it kind of gives a little snapshot of what HR40 is. And, it's taken long enough, reparations now. And so I think, when we talk about social media impact in our field, there is an opportunity for us to bridge the gap between the conversations that are happening on social media and what is important to us as social workers in our field. So I'm seeing some more hashtag our country, our vote. Someone like the HR40 reparations now, which I'm not sure if this is backwards on your screen, but this would be what it would look like. So I think that, we have some time left, and I think it might be a great idea for everyone to kind of jump on. I'm going to take out my phone and kind of jump on Twitter a little bit, and see if we can just get the conversation going, see if we can get some interest, in the stuff that we care about and the stuff that we fight for every day for our clients. That I think, as our society is kind of going through its own changes with a lot of stuff happening, in our country right now, I think that we are getting some people that are not in the social work field and not in the field of service, but they are seeing these important issues and they want to be involved some way. And the easiest way to do that, honestly, is to click a like or to click a retweet or, to do something that might seem very passive if you're not in this field, but it would help to elevate the conversation. And I think that's what we're trying to do. Okay, great. It's not backwards. Good to know. So, I think that, and if anyone has other things they wanted to add into the chat about, for HR 127, Angela, I see you on there. That one was a little harder for me in terms of coming up with some catchy slogans. So maybe you guys can help me out. I had, pass HR 127, firearm checks 127, but I think that one was a little bit tougher for me. And I think we'll see that. And some of the bills that we have are going to be harder to get a clear messaging out, and that's some of the talking around social media and our field with social work is really framing the narrative, framing the message and getting it out there. And so I think what I'm seeing is HR 40 reparations now looks like it probably might be the winner for HR 40. And then, I really liked the HR 1 where she spelled out one. I think that was Rachel, HR1 vote. HR1 We the People vote. I didn't know, kind of what we felt about that, but it might be better for us to get on one page about kind of a hashtag so that we can build that momentum online. And I know that Luisa Lopez, our keynote speaker, also talked about the fact that she uses social media a lot. Oh, look at that. There's a polls option. Okay. So thank you so much, Vincent, for doing that so quickly and for Notion. So if you, on the top when you see chat, over to the right is a polls option. And so if you could click on some of those options. So I don't know if Vincent can see, but yeah, so definitely with Jess is saying we should capitalize the first letter of each new word. And I agree, it helps people who are screen readers read it a bit easier. And I think that these are all important things to talk about when we're using social media, right? Like most people are on social media every day in their personal lives. They see what grabs attention. They understand what, is easier to read. And so all these things are going to be important for us to think about when we are trying to gauge, social media with our profession. So I'm not sure how the polls are looking. I know if we could add any more onto the polls, Vincent, maybe HR 40 reparations now, or HR1 We the People vote. I liked that, Nina. We the People vote HR1. So I'm seeing that a lot. We the People vote. So maybe we do a hashtag HR1 or hashtag We the People vote HR1. And I think Audrey Wilson, I put that in, and I think that's a great hashtag. So we do have about 12 to 13 minutes left. So what I think would be a good idea, yeah, Morgan, I personally love HR1 vote, so did I. So maybe we can go with both of those. So for HR1, we'll do HR1 vote, and we'll do hashtag We the People vote HR1. And then for HR 40, I think that HR 40 reparations now was the one that we wanted to go with. So if everyone could do us a favor, pull out your phones, get on Twitter. If you don't have Twitter and you deleted it, maybe reinstall it for right now and give a little tweet out. And I think it'll be an important, cause to talk about, but also a little test to see, like, with all these people in one area on one platform, are we able to make a small splash here on social media? So I'm going to go ahead right now. I'm going to do a tweet, and I'm going to go in and see if there are others. So I am writing, we're talking about important legislation at Student Advocacy Day 2021. And I'm going to do hashtag HR, I'm going to spell out one vote. I'm also going to do hashtag HR 40 reparations now. And like one of, I think Jess said, I think it would be helpful if we capitalize the first letter of each new word. And it looks like some people have already used hashtag HR 40 reparations now because it popped up on my tweet. And if there are other, I know that some other people brought to Student Advocacy Day some other bills that they find really important. And if you were thinking, oh, Angela just dropped one in for 127, HR 127, no large cap ammo. And I think with these big bills, it gives us a lot of opportunities to reach different people that might be worried about different things. So we have people that are worried about the ammunition of firearms, and so that's going to be one hashtag we could talk about. We could talk about, having to register for a firearm. That could be another group of people that are interested in those things. And so maybe we can even bridge groups of people already on social media by this hashtag activism, by spreading words, by kind of working together in this field. We might be able to change some conversations and engage more people in conversations. And I think that's going to be really important. So I'm going to go on right now to some of the hashtags that we created and just kind of see what's on there. Hopefully people have been writing in. So And maybe some people deleted Twitter. They need some time to get it back on. So I see a couple restoring democracy. I think the name is Cole on Twitter. So thank you for doing that. I'm going to like that. And great, I think it's important for us to go on and just keep this conversation going throughout the day. If you're talking about other bills going on, please keep tweeting about Student Advocacy Days, Social Work Day on the Hill, these legislative bills that we are trying to bring to the forefront of the agenda setting process. And we need all the support that we can get, and social media is a great way to make that happen. So I really hope that we continue to do that. I see it's growing a little bit, so that's exciting. Oh, Ashley Wilson just posted a great tweet also with a bunch of the hashtags in it. So I think that if we just continue to do this and keep thinking about ways that we can engage social media and engage conversations around these important issues of social work, that we can just, elevate these conversations, bring them to the forefront, and hopefully be able to pass some legislation to really work on some of these injustices that we're seeing. So, I know we still have a couple of minutes, but I just want to say, I know people are going to kind of jump out to get ready for some of their lobbying sessions, but I want to thank everyone again so much for coming today, for engaging in the chat, for indulging us in some of my technical issues, and really just being a part of the conversation and being a part of today and the work that we do as a social work field. And I just think it's so important that we use the existing technologies that we have at our fingertips, on our phones, on our computers that we are on a lot, especially as students. So it's just an opportunity for us to kind of make these connections. And as Amy's kind of putting in the chat, it's also a great way to connect with fellow social workers. We're on a platform right now with social workers from all across the country, social work students from across the country, that we know that, two heads are better than one, five are better than two. And so the more connections that we can build within this field, and social media is a great way to connect with people that are not near us in terms of physical location. So I definitely appreciate those comments as well. Social media has allowed us to do many things. I know at our organization, I use social media to help me find out where mutual aids are happening in the community and where drives are happening. And I think it's important for us to keep using technology and the new waves of technology in our field, and to incorporate it in our field, and not get lost from it, but let it elevate it, and let us use it to be able to elevate these conversations, move legislation through the agenda setting process, be able to just have a bigger impact than just our conversations here. So I really appreciate you guys so much coming. If you can keep sending out tweets, keep sending out Instagram posts. I'm going to send one out from the CRISP website on Instagram. And so we're going to continue to do these all day long. And hopefully you guys can take a look on social media as we go through, keep retweeting, keep the conversation going. Angela's had another one from 127, HR 127, register all firearms. I think that those are all great. So thank you guys so much for kind of giving your input and being a part of the conversation. And I really appreciate you guys so much. So thank you. I'm going to hang on here and kind of still be on Twitter. I know people are kind of going to their own lobbying events and kind of getting ready to talking with congressional legislative officers. So hopefully, it'll be a great day for the rest of us. I'm going to jump on Twitter, see if there's any more I found. Oh, yeah. Nina and Kiana, thank you guys so much. We're retweeting and liking and building connections. And I think it's all going to be great as we move forward in the future of social work. So thank you guys so much. All right. Thank you. Yes, and as Monica added, please join for the 2 p.m. session of Can Social Work Help Save Democracy? So it's back on the main stage at 2 o'clock, so it's in a couple of minutes. So I'm going to jump off here and let Monica kind of jump in and get ready for her session. And thank you guys so much again, and have a great day.
you so much, Stacy. That was literally amazing, and I'm so impressed. And I learned a lot about the way social media is gonna helps with like advocacy and pushing for legislation as well. We're gonna take a 5 minute break, and then Monica will be on here to start her session. And then in the meantime, I really encourage everyone to check out the expo. Abigail Martin and her chief of staff, Alexandra Logan, is on right now, and they are willing to meet with any social work students who are interested in running for office, learn about her own campaign, her experience has been like. So I recommend checking out that expo as well.